my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
One of the things that Bob and I hadn't figured out when we wrote the script is exactly what was time travel going to look like. We came to the decision after talking to Ron Cobb for a while about what he thought time travel might look like, that time travel actually should be instantaneous. There shouldn't be any sequence of watching somebody travel through time. He's in 1985 and he's in 1955. So then the next question was, what would happen to the time machine itself when it traveled through time? And so we spoke to Ken Ralston and his people at ILM and asked them to come up with some different ideas as to what time travel would look like from their perspective, and of course what was doable visually. And there were different ideas where, for example, the DeLorean would stretch when it went through time and then snap like a rubber band, where it would physically warp somehow and do some weird things like that. They came up with one illustration that had fire coming from behind it, and when we saw that, that was an image that we thought was just terrific. They have fire trails left behind it. And we came to the idea that wouldn't it be interesting if it goes out hot and it comes back cold, just as something that would be interesting, memorable, and visually easy to do relatively. So that was the conclusion that we came to. Visual effects, of course, were much more complicated and expensive back then than they are today. And so we thought anything that we can do with real effects on the stage, instead of having to turn it over to ILM, we'd be better off for that.
Hey, camera only, Mark. Action!
So the neon that was on the coils around the DeLorean, that was practical, and then it was enhanced later by ILM. And then, of course, ILM came up with the idea of having all these sparks and fireballs shoot out to create a time warp, I guess, a time door in front of the DeLorean that it would travel through, and instantaneously it would arrive at its destination. So it would leave the fire trails behind from where it left, and it would come through that portal cold and freezing.